quick. We're back.
Welcome back.
Listen, we gotta be quicker today.
Quicker.
Yeah, it's evening. I told Karen I'd be home for dinner.
Oh, that should be okay.
You know, I'm gonna make it home in time.
Are you?
Yeah, and we're talking about marriage tonight, so we're gonna keep this one quick. And
If we're not keeping this one quick, we can go into this subject and be multiple episodes.
that's true. Maybe
you know what
should.
Rachel's doing right now?
Give me a guess. Or...
No,
okay.
I probably don't guess. She's at home boiling steaks.
How do you boil steaks?
So I make fun of my brother for this all the time.
Yeah.
He bought us this thing. It's called a sous vide.
Oh, okay.
So you you put your whatever you're cooking like in a Ziploc bag, and you put this thing down inside the sous vide thing. It looks like a big blender, but basically you put it down inside like a pot of boiling water or of water, and it heats up everything inside that water to whatever temperature you set it at. So if you want your 140-degree steak, what's your medium rare, what I don't know the exact temperature. It'll heat everything up into that to 140, so it won't like overcook it, undercook it, and then you slap it on the grill. Put your nice grill lines on it, and you're done.
Do I look pretty unengaged over here?
You look really unengaged, and so
I'm trying not to be, but man, I don't know. Like you're talking about
boiling meat,
boiling steak. I don't know. It reminds me that there's that restaurant where you can boil. Have you ever been there?
I haven't.
I haven't been there in years.
Fondue?
I don't know. Producer Blake would know. You know what I'm
Fondue.
talking about? He doesn't know. Yeah, like fondue.
Yeah.
Melting pot.
Melting pot.
It's more like fish bait to me.
Okay.
And you put it on a stick and you throw it in you boil. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just go out there and throw your steak on the grill or throw it in a cast iron skillet.
I agree, but Rachel is at home cooking steaks tonight.
Okay.
Which gives her huge points in my book.
Yeah, no, I'm glad.
She can bring this. She could have put this thing in this sous vide thing at 10 o'clock this morning and left it in there all day long. It will never overcook it.
So it's like a crock pot.
It's like a crock pot-ish. Now I can go home, pull those two steaks out of that plastic baggie.
Sous vide? Is that what you call it?
Yes, sous vide.
Okay.
I think it's French. It's
It's
Frenchy. I can go home, stick them on the hot grill, put the grill lines on there, sear the outside really good, put a little gristle on there because I like a little gristle, and then it'll be done perfectly.
I'm no more engaged now than the first time you told me that.
Okay, well, so.
But I need to try it. I've got it. It may be a game. I use an Instapot a lot, and I used to make fun of them, but I love them now. So
maybe one day I'll bring this over to your house. You put some steaks on the grill. I'll cook steaks on the sous vide, and we'll just compare and see if one's better than the other.
I have a whole cow coming tomorrow.
Really?
Or Friday. I don't know. One day. I don't know. Someday this week I have a whole cow coming, so I'm going to have plenty of meat again. So.
Okay, great. You guys went through a whole cow already?
Yeah.
Nice.
We have. I have 3 teenagers.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
All right. Today, we need to jump into this.
Sorry, we're talking about marriage.
Marriage. Here's what I thought we'd talk about tonight.
Okay.
Unless you have a plan.
No, let's see where you're going to go, and then if I don't like it, then I'll derail us.
Okay. You're going to derail us either way. So, ministry of presence.
Yeah.
Okay. You ever thought of this?
No.
Not presents, like you get a gift.
Right.
Like presents.
No, I got you. Not my love language. Gift giving.
Yeah, not
kind
that.
Of presents.
Like being there.
Yeah.
So like in the Army, I'm an Army chaplain. So there's this thing in our Army doctrine that said that what we're supposed to do as chaplains, one of our jobs is to provide a ministry of presence.
Okay.
Last week I talked about digging foxholes.
Yeah.
So one way we provide a ministry of presence is that when guys are out digging foxholes, we go out and dig foxholes because when you're there, all of a sudden you're sweating and
you're
upset together and
much more relatable.
You're miserable together.
You're sweating with me.
Yeah.
Than you standing over me.
Yeah, he'll start.
Preaching.
The soldier will start sharing stuff with you, or you build relationships. Yeah. So I was thinking, in our life as men, especially at homes, we should have a ministry of presence.
We should. We should engage more.
And I know it seems like pretty silly and small. It's really pretty important when you start thinking
Probably
about
not to. Maybe it seems silly and small to us, but does it feel that way to our wives?
Probably not. And we're supposed to provide, instruct our kids.
Yeah.
Love. How do you do all these things that we should be doing as men if we're not providing this? If we're not present?
Yeah, if we're not engaged. Yeah, present.
Present. Ministry of presence. That's what we're going to call this. Sorry. That's okay. You'll get it by the end. But remember, we're going to be short tonight.
Just drive it home.
I'm going to drive it home for you. Because here's what I was thinking. Your presence at your house sets a tone.
Yeah.
Like when dad's home, when the husband's home, it helps shapes that culture.
It does.
And if you're not there, the culture shapes as well.
Right. The culture shapes itself.
It does.
Yeah.
And so you should be there, hopefully shaping that culture in a positive way.
Right.
And so that's what we're going to look at tonight. Hey, not just because you're present, you actually need to be present. So I wrote down 3 things.
Okay.
One is that you need to be home.
Yeah.
I know our audience, our guys, they just need it spelled out. You actually need to be home.
Yeah, you have to be there.
You got to be there, son. Yeah. So you've got to leave work and go home.
Right. Well, and not be gaming with your friends.
Yeah.
Not be. I'm not.
Yeah, there's a place for that,
but not all the time. There needs to be some some balance there.
Yeah. That's what I had. My second point was like,
See, here I am.
see,
It's
you're
like I'm
jumping,
reading
you're
off your
trying to
computer.
derail me.
Yeah.
You got to be like involved or maybe engaged. Like you have to be active when you're home or
Yeah.
engaged or something like that. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, it does
Like
make sense.
engaged maybe is the best
Yeah.
word. So when you are home, are you engaged?
Yeah, are you on your phone? Are you gaming? Are you
Dude, I'm so bad at being on my
maintaining
phone.
the house? Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Or are you engaged in your wife's life and how her day went? Are you engaged in your kids' lives and how their day went?
Yeah.
You brought up a good point the other day. We were talking about this a little bit, and you said, when I get home, I don't ask my wife how her day was. I ask her something specific, like, hey, how was the coffee that you went to go get with such and such the other day? How was your meeting at 10 o'clock that you had today? And, did anything positive come out of that?
Yeah, that's my third point today.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. We'll jump back to engage. Let's jump to
Okay.
point 3. We can.
Yeah.
Our listeners are smart listeners. They can keep up. But
Most of our listeners read at a 6th grade level.
So, but the thing,
At least
like,
I do.
You need to be interested, like, with your wife when you get home. So,
Yeah.
we talk about how was your day. Like, that's anyone can ask that.
Pretty
but here's
broad.
what happens. I don't know if I hate admitting to this, but
Yeah.
my wife already knows. So if she comes home like, hey, how was your day? She may start telling me, but I'm not engaged.
Yeah.
Like my mind is someplace else, and she can talk about it. And so I think she picks up like he's really not that interested.
I do this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she could just tell me something off the wall, and I just sit here and nod my head, yeah, and say, yep, I'm sorry to hear that. And,
So I think what we need to do is to ask better questions. So instead of like, so my wife knows I'm interested. So I know that, hey, today she had coffee with another lady or something.
Yeah.
Like say, hey, how was coffee with so-and-so? Or how did that meeting go at work? Or, hey, I know you've been struggling with this at work. And how did that go today? So being more specific.
Yeah.
The other part that's hard about it, at least for me, you're laughing because you're going to struggle with this too, is
am,
that
or
you
I
have
do.
to be a good listener. So when she responds, you need to be able to ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, right.
And so what we do sometimes is we ask a question, we've done our part, and then we just kind of zone out.
You know what I found really helps me with this, though?
What's that?
Putting my phone down, turning the TV off, and just actually having, 15, 30 minutes, whatever it is, just us time. Just time for us to unwind.
I don't think us time's what I'm talking about here.
There's a different us time.
A different us time. Okay.
Yeah. No, us time with clothes on is what I was talking about here.
Yeah.
But just to really engage each other and just, just to be there and be present.
Yeah, I think that's good. Even when I was thinking about this today, that I don't know if you've ever went on a date with your wife. Like you go out for dinner, you do something.
We date all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're serial daters.
But I think it's our job as guys to like make sure the conversation's interesting, to make sure it's engaged. Because I've heard from some guys, and myself included, there's been times like where you go out, like we just don't have anything to talk about. And so I think as guys, like we should go and be prepared to make that an interesting night.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I'm talking about.
What?
At dinner.
Huh?
To make it interesting at dinner.
I'm going to make it an interesting night.
So go with some questions, like to keep it entertaining.
Yeah,
right? So like, hey, I want to ask her certain things.
I want to ask her some certain things.
You're out of control. You're out of control tonight.
I'm having a good time. Man, I enjoy talking about marriage, though, because it's probably the second best choice I ever made.
Here we go.
And I'm not going to dig a hole here. And
here we go.
Because the first best choice I ever made was, to start following God.
There you go. That's good.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to say this podcast.
Oh, no. No, second best choice I ever made was getting married. I have an awesome wife.
You do.
She is, she puts up with a lot.
That's true as well.
She does.
Yeah.
She just, but she's awesome. I mean, she's a home boiling steaks.
She is.
Yeah.
So be engaged with her though, right?
Yeah.
So are you engaged with her? And then actively engaged. So you mentioned shutting the phone off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big one for us.
It's huge. And I'm still guilty of it. My phone rings multiple nights a week. My phone will ring at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and it'll be work stuff.
That's the other thing I wrote down is like leave work at work.
Yeah.
As much as possible. I know that you and I both will have to take some calls in the evenings.
Yeah.
But when I come home, hopefully I leave work there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we need to disengage a little bit from work and engage, into our family and home life and into our wives. And it's kind of like, we talked before about balance, keeping God at the top and then your marriage and then your kids and then your work. And it seems like every time one of those things gets out of order is when we start to notice that we're having huge problems.
Yeah.
Or maybe even minor problems, but it becomes problematic when we take, when God's not the top of our focus, and then our marriage, and then kids, or then work, whatever order that is for some people.
Yeah.
When you put other things before what's supposed to be put first, then, problems follow.
They do. So be home, be engaged,
Yeah.
be intentional or interesting and asking the right questions.
Yeah.
I was even thinking so for me, I had a dad that was like super engaged. So my memories as a kid was, and I don't know how he did it. Like he would be home, he would come home in the evenings after work and he was there with us. Like, we would throw to baseball. We would go get ice cream. So I don't have a lot of memories like vacations and like big things that I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
But I have memories like overall as a childhood as having a dad who set a tone of being there and involved in my life.
Yeah.
And so I look at my life though and I'm like, man, I want my kids like to have that memory when they get old. Like their dad cared about them every evening.
Yeah.
But now I think it's something different, right? With technology and things. Yeah. That it's easy for us to be distracted in the evenings. Yeah. And not be that engaged. Like what kind of tone am I setting with my kids?
Well, I think you just said it right there. Distraction. Yeah. It's so easy to be distracted. And I mean, it could be anything from TV to phone to neighbors to friends to, I mean, it could be anything. It could be a myriad of different things. It just, we need to make sure that we're not.
Yeah. And finding stuff to do together, right? Yeah. So maybe it's go for a bike ride together or walk together. If you do like TV, maybe you find a TV show that you guys can watch together. Yeah.
There's all kinds of things you can do together.
Here we go. Nick, you need to get home, right? You need to get home for these steaks and us time.
Us time.
What was I saying?
I don't know. I'm derailing it.
Oh, I was saying, so we don't watch a lot of TV, but right now we're watching Lost.
Really?
With our kids. You remember that show?
Watched that.
Yeah, my kids wanted to watch it, so we're watching it. But it's been fun to like do it together.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to change the subject.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the easy thing for guys, go home, watch the sports.
Yeah, whatever.
Go out to your garden.
Games.
Go to your, like you have this awesome garage. Like
I do.
If I had your garage,
would you do anything different with it?
I think it could be like an awesome gym.
I mean, it's an okay gym now.
Yeah, I think it could be awesome. Like it's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh, maybe I'll work on that.
Well, the problem is, I was going to say, if I had yours, I would have like a TV and everything in there. I would spend a lot of time in there. Or that'd be the temptation.
I don't go in the house.
Well, your garage is nicer than my house.
Whatever, man.
All right. Anything else? I know we said, oh, you know what? I do have one more thing.
What you got?
Well, do you have anything else on this?
I have a couple things. I got a couple of Bible verses that have really been good for me on marriage. But go ahead with what you got.
No, mine will be at the end. You go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church.
Yeah.
Christ never stopped loving the church.
Even when she treats him poorly.
Even when she treats him poorly. And I'm sure that it never happens, but for most people. It doesn't happen in my relationship.
So, no, of course not. But if your wife was to do something that offended you or hurt you, you're still to love her.
Yeah, remember how Christ loved the church and keep loving your wife in the same way.
So if those steaks, not that they can burn in your
sous
vide.
Yeah.
But if they were able to burn in the sous vide and you go home, you still got to love your wife.
Yeah, I would still just eat the burnt steak because I love her. Yep.
Do you have another verse?
Oh, yeah. Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in love and honor one above yourselves.
It's a tough verse.
Tough verse.
Devoted, honor above yourself.
Yeah. Put her above you.
Mm-hmm.
Put your spouse above yourself.
Man, that's good because that's really what we're talking about. When you go home at night, the selfish part of you wants to go sit on the couch maybe and watch TV or just go hang out in your garage.
Yeah.
Go video game or go run by yourself. But if you're going to put her above you, you've got to be engaged. You've got to be interested.
Did last night?
Here we go.
We both flew my drone.
Okay.
We had a blast.
Okay.
Look, you guys thought I was going to really derail it, didn't you?
Yeah.
No way, man. I'm not telling you what all we did last night.
Okay.
We flew my drone. It was a blast. We had a great time. She's flying it. She's checking things out. It's really cool because all the farmers are coming out now and they're like, they're planting and they're, spraying the fields and stuff. And she's like flying right over these tractors as they're doing their thing.
You know what's going to happen.
What's
that? Drone's going to get blown out of the sky by some 12 gauge and a farmer on his tractor. I would do it.
I wrecked the drone the other day.
Yeah.
I flew it right into the side of a barn. It broke every propeller off the side of it. So I had to
go get it.
Oh, yeah. First I had to drive over there and knock on the people's doors, explain to them that I'm an idiot, and I need to get my broken drone out of your barn because that's where it's at.
Okay.
So
I'm going to start auditioning for a co-host of Tough Men of Faith.
Yeah.
You're going to get shot by one of these farmers.
I'm not going to get shot. They like me so far. Maybe I'll send my wife.
You should definitely send Rachel because they're not going to shoot her.
They want to shoot her. So.
No, she's a lot more likable than you are. So.
Right.
All right. Man. So here's what I wanted to wrap with.
Okay.
We've been talking about our wives some tonight.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. I just sent a group chat to our wives. You're on there.
I can't wait to see how
and
this
I let
goes.
them know that the next episode we want to bring them in.
Ooh.
So we're going to have women on the Tough Men of Faith episode.
So wait a minute here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have the tough women that reign in the tough men of faith.
That's it. Yep.
I can't wait for this. This kind of seems like it could be one of those things that could be like career suicide. Or
so maybe the end of the Tough Men of Faith.
It could be the end of the tough men of faith because the tough women take over. Or this could be the thing that puts us through the top. This is like the thing that goes viral. This is like, the 10,000 downloads because people want to hear a woman's perspective on how they reel in their tough men of faith.
Well, and for ones that don't know, like our spouses, just want like, how do you stay married to these two guys?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they get a good point of view too. I mean, you're talking about pastor's wife.
Yeah.
Who knows what that looks like? It's probably, boring. But,
yeah.
And then you got my wife, drywaller's wife.
Yeah.
Her life probably looks a little more interesting.
I don't know. She has to be married to Nick Robertson. So I have lots of questions.
Great. Start writing them down now.
I will.
Yeah. Huh. All right. So we're going to do this.
We're going to do it. Yeah.
I think it'll be fun.
So next week.
Yeah.
We'll get them in here this week. We'll record.
Ooh. Yeah.
It'll be good. They'll agree to this.
Then we'll re-record.
We'll re-record?
I'll probably take it off the rails again.
Yeah.
I'll try to behave.
Yeah, you will behave. Your wife will be here. So.
Yeah. I like to think that, like, when your wife's around, I tone myself down a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't know why. Maybe it's just a respect thing.
Yeah. My wife likes to think when Nick is around, RT says a lot more stupid stuff.
Right.
So.
Ooh, I feel bad. Producer Blake's going to have to do some editing. RT has a job to worry about.
All right. So
not so much.
Let's wrap this up. Ministry of Presence.
Yep.
Make sure you are home. You are actively engaged, that you are interested, that you are there, like driving that culture of your house,
yep.
setting that tone as the man in the house.
Yep. And remember Romans 12:10.
Romans 12:10.
Be devoted to one another in love and honor her above yourself or honor your spouse above yourself.
Yeah. It's time to go home so you can eat some steak.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go home and have some pasta.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of pasta you guys having?
I'll have to give you the recipe sometime. It's
I'll bring my
sausage
steak over
and ground beef and pepperoni, a little bit of pasta, and lots of cheese.
Sounds really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I make it. So it's not healthy, but,
Awesome.
It's good.
Good.
All right. So thanks for listening. Hey, do not miss next week, right? It's going to be the greatest episode we've ever had in the Tough Men of Faith.
I hope these ladies know what they're getting into.
I hope they do. I hope they agree. We just sent the text, right? I sent the text. So.
Yeah, I hope they agree because you just hyped it up.
We did.
Yep.
I'm a hype man.
You are a hype man.
We'll see you guys later. Tune in next week.
Thanks. See you.